everybody. Welcome to the Fumble Live. So excited to be here.
Episode 2.
We're stoked. This is the first time that we've all been together hosting live at the same time.
All worked the same day, yeah.
Ever. Right. Okay, so wait. I'm Devin Howard. On Instagram is @Devin Howard.
It's your boy Chris, CK2K everywhere.
You can follow me at I am Britt Johnson because I am Britt Johnson.
I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on all things social media at JRay the Fanatic. That was me.
And put your phones on silent,
I knew you were coming at me.
I try to be discreet.
Actually, me too.
What about you? Oh, boy. No,
we did mention this was our first time all together,
Okay.
didn't we say that?
So yeah, this is the first time that we're all hosting together, and it's live. There's bound to be some issues, just like Chris leaving his audio on.
And it's starting 15 minutes late. You know, it happens.
You have
Work with us, people.
You have to make sure you can hear us, you guys. We don't want to be on here like with silent mics, so the sound check took a little bit of time. Yeah.
Although I wouldn't mind muting Chris's mic.
Oh, already.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show has officially begun.
The show.
Glad that you're sitting by Devin because she'll give you some nice.
Can we get a break?
That's on my team. Right, thank you.
I got the support.
Man.
I just want to say, Britt and Chris, you guys killed it yesterday
Thank
on
you.
the first ever live.
Appreciate
It was awesome. And today we're going to be getting into a lot of news that you all definitely want to know. We are talking about NBA drug tests, and I feel like we might have some hot takes on that. We've got Odell Beckham Jr., some news about Kobe merch on eBay. We are talking about the fight. So people say that Tyson Fury cheated, but we're going to be getting into that a little bit later. There may have been a banana boat reunion a while ago, but we'll get into those details further down the show. And then John Morant said some things about Russell Westbrook. So
saying more things.
we're going to be covering all of that. We're going to have some social media stuff coming from you, Chris. And Jackie, you've got plays of the...
I do.
Plays of the day?
Plays of the night.
Plays of the night.
Technically it's daytime, but it happened at night.
Yeah, so we're going to be getting into all of the news that you guys...
And people are already talking about the drug stuff. Somebody tweeted robbery?
Who? We're going to go with that one. Mr. Ramirez.
Mr. or Mrs. Ramirez said, smoking a blunt after just getting paid $1,000. What a good day, LOL. Well, congrats to you. That is amazing.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Nice work.
What am I doing
though? Because we wouldn't get drug tested.
We do not get drug tested here at the Fumble, so, you know.
If we did, not to say that, you know, we
Mr. Ramirez, I don't know if you get drug tested at work, but you might now. Just like once you start doing something right, people come after you.
Oh, yeah. That's the theme that we're seeing here lately, huh?
Like
what else,
every show.
What else is happening in the chat here? Tato says, I'm telling you, CK2K for MVP. That's my guy.
Tato, however you say it, my guy. I got you,
You
man.
just wrote that yourself
yourself? Nope,
That's Chris's burner account.
This is me.
That's Chris's mama.
No,
Or
this is
girlfriend over
me.
there. Chris's girls over there?
Mama, if you're going by Tato, explain to me why later, but I appreciate the love.
Absolutely not.
Thank you, Mama. Look.
No mom's going by Tato. That is inappropriate.
Right.
Oh, and somebody also mentioned Braun and Zion aren't beefing. We obviously will be getting to that later today, too.
Oh, yeah.
Stay tuned.
I love this narrative that's happening with Zion and LeBron. I just feel like it seems...
I love anything
know.
that has to do anything with
I'm so excited because LeBron has been waiting for this moment because of the shade Michael Jordan gave to him when LeBron was first coming up. So now it's his turn. So I'm ready.
So you think it's a calculated thing?
We'll talk about it.
that.
I'm so ready for it. We'll talk about it then.
I'm getting too excited.
I'm excited for that one too. Yeah.
Rebecca, real quick, you're right. She says LeBron is all of that. You know I had to get that one out.
So I specifically got this mug.
Yes, please.
For Jackie. Says Braun Sexual on it.
Perfect for Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you for the compliment, Isa. Appreciate it. She thinks it's bad. She was clowning on my LeBron.
I don't know if you guys follow Jackie on social media, but she definitely wore LeBron James' face all over her leggings at a Lakers game yesterday.
On the 25th.
Terrible idea.
I had those
Who decided to make? Oh my God!
I had those custom made for me. I did.
How much did that cost?
Too much.
No, it wasn't that much. You got to find like an up and
How much did it
You're trying to be the Clipper Darryl of the Lakers now.
with a little more
LeBron.
style, but yeah, it cost $42.
That was not style what I saw.
Oh, hey,
that was not
Girl, that's because you hating was like, come on to the
I don't
front.
care if Kawhi wins us
Did they really?
They did.
I believe it.
Oh my
Staples
God.
Center, I believe it.
Security was
it.
like, I've never seen those pants, and they kept waving me to the
You'll never
front.
see
I
'em
went to
again.
the front, and they were like, go on in. They didn't even check my bag.
Okay, so now I know what I'm going to
Whoa!
do next time I'm at the Lakers
Staples.
game.
Right.
Somebody's getting fired
Yeah,
today.
right.
I know.
What do you look like? State of government. Go ahead.
No, not doing
I
that.
actually know the head of security for Staples Center, so I will be contacting him and saying, if you ever see this woman
Oh,
again, don't bring her to the
Wow.
front. No. Your people ain't even checking her bags because they just think she's just the one. Now some like crazy person is going to.
Oh, wow.
Where?
Yeah,
That is
what
us
do you
down.
have?
That's not us.
Where is this sound
This is
coming
backwards.
from?
From
Right.
everywhere else.
You guys, we
We're
warned
hearing
you.
ourselves talk, and it's not attractive.
Either way.
I know what I sound like, guys.
Look at Rodney coming in, and I'm going to be the one to point it out. Rodney coming in with the gentleman-like comment saying, hey, that's a wonderful crew up there, along with, let's try it again, take two.
Take two.
Hey, that's a wonderful crew up with all through beautiful women.
Hey, that's a wonderful crew up with
all through.
Oh,
You see what I'm saying? With all through
Okay,
beautiful
you
women.
guys,
Up
what
there.
The
I
point
think
of the
you meant to
matter
say
is,
up
Rodney,
there.
we appreciate what you're saying, because yes, beautiful women and your boy Chris being a gentleman. Appreciate that.
Aw,
Thanks, Rodney.
Thank you, Rodney.
But the through,
Oh,
I
and
don't- the through
Tato
everybody off.
confirmed this is not CK2K's burner account.
My man,
But
hey.
I don't believe you.
Wow,
My
you have
guy.
a real fan.
And Nick,
One guy.
there.
Taylor's my guy. I'll take him.
And
and
Rodney.
Nick
through.
Parker
And Rodney.
Said
Nick Parker
Jackie
is
just
confirmed.
let Britt hate.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to let you hate, girl. Because,
Yeah, because I'm right.
You're not, though. You're not, though. If you guys want to know where I got those LeBron pants,
They
No.
all
I'll
got.
tell you.
I do want to
Wait.
know.
Okay,
No.
you can get some
Devin,
too. We
don't
can rock
do
them
it.
together.
I think
Rock
the
them
goat
together.
of comments today, they all got Walmart mics.
Oh, boo,
Chill
yes,
out.
boo.
Hey, how about you donate us some money so we can get some
Yeah,
units then, buddy?
we need, you guys could do it in the super chat. Send us some money so we can get some new mics.
Yes.
That was.
Good call, Britt. Send us some money in the super
Right.
chat so we can get some good mics.
Yeah,
Yes.
buddy.
Sorry if it sounds like they're from Walmart. I don't believe they are, although I have no idea where
They're
these
just
mics
really
came from.
old. They need
Right.
a tune-up, or
Yeah.
they just need to be thrown away. It's like an iPhone. Once you have it for a long time, it's old, too old. You
don't
can't
know.
use it anymore.
Mind your
Yeah.
business.
You gotta
I
upgrade.
just
We
turned
need to
it in my
upgrade.
6 because it wasn't working anymore. You know.
Just mind your business,
Oh.
Dana Vin Walker.
Ooh,
What
what's
is his
the
name?
Dana Vin?
Dana Vin Walker. He's the one that said about
Hey,
talking
that
about
he
Walmart
said
mics.
Britt is my girl. Like,
But
why
he's the
you
one talking about our
hating?
mics. He's the one that was talking about our mics.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Well,
But see how
a girl,
quickly
though.
Britt didn't care about the mics anymore. But he said, I'm his girl. So
you know. What's up, boo?
Okay, you guys, I want to know where everybody is tuning in from in the chat.
that'd be dope.
Before we jump into
Oh,
the
yeah.
news, I'm just curious where everybody's watching from, so let us know. We are in Los Angeles. I never know if we're in Studio City or Universal.
I think it's
City.
Universal.
It's
technically.
Universal.
Yeah,
It's
technically.
Universal? Okay, so we're in the
So
valley
if you want to
somewhere.
stalk us,
Right.
we'll send you the address in the comments.
We have Cryan Arcanen. I really butchered that name. From
It's
Cleveland.
okay, it's been happening all show. We've all been butchering everybody's names.
We've got Michael Rowland in Minnesota.
Minnesota, don't you know?
Oh, Louisiana's in the
Oh,
building.
damn.
Okay, I used to live in Louisiana. We got Jamaica. That's,
Hey.
that's where I went
Oh,
for my
yeah.
birthday a couple years ago.
Oh, fun. I've
And
always
the
wanted to go to
Bahamas.
Jamaica.
Oh,
Good
Colorado. Hey, what you doing, fam? How you
Ireland.
doing?
Oh, wow, Ireland.
Montreal,
Athens?
Grenada.
I am Athens. I'm actually going to Greece this summer, so maybe I'll see you there.
Oh, wow.
Amityville. That's a movie, right?
I want to go to Greece.
Yeah, I want to see that horror movie.
Unless we're talking about Athens, Georgia, then no, I won't be there.
I feel like
Yeah,
it's
everywhere.
probably
Everywhere.
Greece.
Oh.
Brooklyn, stand up.
Or sit back down. Lil Cugs, you got your boy Lil Cugs in there from Cleveland. You're gonna love Jackie today, boy. Wait till we got some things to talk about, Lil Cugs.
Okay, well, is everybody ready to get into the news?
Let's do it.
Let's
Yes.
do
Do it. Okay, so let's start off with these drug tests that have been happening. So Rockets athlete Robert Covington got a drug test after averaging 3.7 blocks over the past 4 games. So that was about 11 blocks total, and he was playing really well and immediately got drug tested, which I think is kind of interesting. It's a little bit funny. Bradley Beal said that he was also drug tested after his back-to-back 50-point games.
makes sense.
It was the first time in Wizards franchise history that that happened, and he's the 11th athlete in league history to accomplish this. So my feeling is that the NBA is just so shook that they're just handing out these drug tests left and right. But what do you guys think about
I mean,
that?
they've been doing JaVale McGee when he had 6 blocks
Yep.
in a game, got drug tested. Alex Caruso when like that edited picture
Yeah,
of him went
wasn't
out.
even
The
real.
league drug tested him for that too. But it's very interesting because there's actually never been a huge PED scandal in the NBA anyway.
Right.
So it's so interesting that they want to test these guys. I mean, obviously like OJ Mayo, Joakim Noah he's the most recent person that got
recklessness
tested for PEDs and it was positive. But really there's like, I know Rashard Lewis once got positive tests for it, but like there's literally like I can count on my hands how many NBA players in the history of the NBA that have tested positive for PEDs. So it's crazy that they continue to go after these players, and it's crazy that these are clearly not random tests. Like the players get tested 4 times a year from October 1st to June 30th. And they're trying to say it's random, and they're saying that it's actually an outside thing. The NBA has nothing to do with the testing, but clearly that's not true. Like,
obvious.
But
It's
Damian brought up a good thing because Malik Monk from the Charlotte, he actually just got caught because he's being suspended for a game. He didn't play against the Knicks last night. That's the only reason why I know that nonsense fact. But yeah, he got caught though. He got caught with PEDs. He got caught and he got suspended for a game.
I mean, but the Knicks got to do what they got to do though.
No. For
Against
the Hornets,
the Knicks,
for the
yeah.
Hornets
I thought
against
you said
the
he
Knicks.
was playing
No.
with the Knicks. I was like, wait.
No.
The Bradley Beal one bothers me though.
You don't like it?
Yeah.
No, because Bradley Beal was averaging 32.6 points before he
yeah,
had the
he's
back-to-back
had 8
50.
games
Right.
with over 40 points
That's
this
what I'm
season.
saying.
Like, he's a
And-
shooting guard.
And they losing. You score
Facts.
53, you lose.
Facts.
You score 47, you lose. If
55,
I'm losing,
you lose.
no drug test.
Yeah.
That should
Right.
be the rule.
You're already
Well,
hurting
and, like,
enough.
Right.
Right. That's not right.
Like, if you literally look at their box score, like, everyone else is scoring, like, 8 points, like,
I mean,
7 points. Like,
Right.
it's so terrible. Like, of course, somebody got to make these baskets.
Right.
So, like, why is
Nobody
it such,
else is
I
doing
get
it.
it if
Look
it's
at the
like a
shots he's
guy.
putting up.
Yeah. I get it if it's like a guy. Go ahead.
Him being on the sideline, after scoring having these big games, and it's just defeat in his face, and they're like, "Hey, you see that defeat on your face? Go pee in this cup too."
Yeah.
I just feel like it's wrong.
Well, I feel the same way. I was trying to put myself in their shoes, coming off these great games when you feel like you're flying high, and then they're like, that didn't actually happen.
And he's only flying
because you're
medium.
good. Yeah.
I was gonna say his high is a low bar.
He hasn't been happy
Bradley
after
Beal- no,
these
you're right.
games.
You're right.
You know, it's like
Right.
he's feeling
Yeah.
on the top of his game, and
Right.
then suddenly they're like, you didn't actually do that all
Yeah.
on your own. Like,
Hey,
and so,
Brad.
it just kind of, I feel
Yeah.
like that would kind of hurt.
I know
Yeah.
you had some big games and you lost them, Brad. But can you pee in this
Yeah.
cup for
Out
us,
of
buddy?
8 of the
Right.
games, he's lost 7 of them where he's scored over 40 points. So it's like,
Wizards, baby.
he's not very happy that he's doing great anyway because
It doesn't
they
mean
don't
anything.
win.
Right? It doesn't mean
But like
anything.
now they're like testing him on top of it. It's
Lorenzo, he can't, man. Lorenzo's saying, I think Bradley Beal should just sign with the new team. He can't
He
because
just signed a 2-year extension for $72 million.
he
Right.
knew what he did. He knew what
So
he
that's
did.
why you don't feel bad about him.
At
$72
all.
million.
You're making $36 million a year. I literally don't give a shit. You can pee test me every single day, and
No.
I don't care.
No.
I get you on that, but still,
Excessive.
even he could be making
It's
$5.
$36 million.
I don't care how much
a
money
year.
it is. He's making $5. He chose to stay in this on this team. How am I supposed to feel bad for that?
No, I'm
You-
saying I don't feel bad. That's
No,
why I'm like.
I don't care about the money part. Like, yeah, you're
Oh.
making a lot of
I mean,
money. I get that
yeah,
part.
but
But you decided to say, you know what? I'll stay here. Where it's really
Yeah.
bad.
But I mean, I just don't like the fact that the NBA says it's a random test. It's clearly
Right.
not random,
Right.
so just make it a point that we are just going to test you when we feel like it. If they because that was part of their CBA agreement in 2011, was to make sure that these were random tests, that it was only done during the regular season and postseason. They weren't allowed to do it off season anymore. So because they made all these new things to it, and because they said the NBA cannot be involved. Clearly, this is all going against their CBA, technically, because it's not random tests, because all these players, and the reason why is in the next couple years, they're going to be up for their CBA again. So they're literally, all the players are making it a point that whenever I have a good game, you guys are testing us.
Right.
So you guys are not doing this at random, and you also, the league is a part of it. You guys aren't having some outside source come in and monitor and hand out these tests, because they're supposed to schedule the tests too, not the NBA.
But it's just a problem. They're stepping up.
Great take.
I was just gonna say, my boy Tonto, I was gonna bring it back.
It's a problem because these players are stepping up in areas that their team needs them to step up, right? So it's okay, there's a void. I have to fill it. I'm working hard.
Right.
I might be coming to the gym early, staying late. I'm doing what I need to do to better myself as a player and my team.
Yeah.
And now you're going to punish me for it.
And poor
It's just not right.
like JaVale McGee, like he's always on Shaqtin' a fool.
man, he
And
has
then
one
when he
good
has
guy.
one game where he gets 6 blocks and he's
They're
like,
like, oh,
yes,
nah.
and they're like,
That's not
"Yes,
real.
no,
Yeah,
no,
right.
You're the
Yeah,
Shaqtin' a
funny
fool
guy. You're the
MVP.
funny man.
Let's be real here.
I want to jump in here and say Alex King has kind of a hot take. She says, I think if the testing is more widespread, more positive results are going to show up. And I'm curious if you guys feel the same way. Like, if they're doing it more regularly and really, truly at random, are they going to find more positive results?
I mean, absolutely. Like Britt said, this isn't a league that has that kind of scandal. It's not, it's not something that's common. And I think that if they did it more randomly, they would also see there's not a need to do it as often. If I have a 50-point game, that doesn't mean that I'm out here all of a sudden getting shots in my butt. You know what I mean? It just means that I'm working for my team. And I think that the image, like the optics, I think the image that the NBA is doing right now is like, hey, we're not going to give you accolades. We're not going to say, wow, good job. Way to step up for your team. We're going to say, here's this cup, go pee.
That's almost an accolade within itself.
Right,
At this point.
Is it though?
At this point, because of that.
Because it's like you're doing a good job.
You're doing a good job. You did so great. You know what? Let's see if you're doing steroids. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's almost an accolade itself.
But it's like
But then to not get positive on the result, like that's
It
like,
is.
yeah, I really am the
Right.
shit, Like, go ahead, test me all you
Right.
want because
Right.
this is all
Exactly.
me.
The headline
Unless
needs to
you're
say
Malik
that.
Monk.
That needs to be
Yeah.
on NBA.com. We test him, he passed.
He-
He's
it was
the-
negative.
He's dope.
He's
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That need to be a headline.
All right, let's move on into some football, okay? So let's talk Odell
we go.
Beckham Jr. The Browns and their new GM, Andrew Berry, are basically willing to part ways with anyone on the roster if the offer is right. So he basically is going to be listening to every offer that comes through. He says, we're going to explore any opportunity to improve the roster through any means necessary. No one is safe here. As the season was winding down, Odell has said that he had no plans on leaving, even though there have been rumors throughout the season that he was ready to go, that he wanted to go. Then he came forward and said, I didn't buy a house here for nothing, so I'm staying. Sports Illustrated reporter reported that if he is traded, he thinks the New York Jets are an ideal landing spot. That's just speculation. And I looked at Twitter to see what people were saying about that. The Jets fans are not happy about it, but Odell was
Jets fans
better take whatever they
The
get.
Jets fans better be quiet.
Like, shush, shush.
But so I think there are a couple reasons that he would stay. He did buy that house. He's got Jarvis Landry there, who's his best friend, and he says he wants to stay.
He's
we
lying.
could take him at his word.
Here we
He's
go.
lying.
And here we go.
Or
He's
Here we go.
lying.
there's the reasons that he would go, which I actually feel like he's probably more likely to leave because he's been unhappy. He didn't live up to expectations. It was a disappointing season.
He didn't live
for
up
him
to
and as an
expectations.
athlete.
Odell didn't live up to expectations.
I think
Or
that
his quarterback didn't live up to the expectations.
Or go one more level. Go one more level.
The coach didn't live up to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be clear. Who
Thank
didn't
you.
live up to
Right.
their job?
didn't live up to expectations. People had high hopes for Odell
Yeah.
with the Browns, and it didn't happen like that. Regardless of whose fault it was, it wasn't his most exciting
He's been
season.
there one season.
That's
like,
enough.
Here
that's
comes the
so
Cowboys fan,
crazy.
baby.
No, but that's so
No, you're right, but
crazy
you're right.
to even
You're right.
think that a second-year quarterback and this Odell coming in on his first year, they're
Insane.
just supposed to make magic
Insane.
happen in
Yeah.
2 seconds. Like, if you know anything about football, you would know that that doesn't make any sense. Like, everybody has to go through a transition where they're learning each other and like there's the spurts of like, oh, that's why usually quarterbacks don't play the first couple years because they have to learn the playbook, figure stuff out. And like you said, it clearly was not Odell's fault. Like, Odell is the seasoned one in this situation. The Browns coach was a new coach to the
was the one,
organization.
man.
Like, Baker is literally in his second year in the
quarterback.
NFL.
Yeah, but that's
you know?
all
And
logic,
he had
though.
nobody to teach him anything. It's not
Yeah,
like
but
he had somebody there for a year that kind of helped him, like a Aaron Rodgers situation or whatever. No,
That's-
he had nobody, and he's dealing with a quarterback that don't know what he's, or a coach that doesn't know what he's doing.
What the hell he's doing, man?
But this is the way of Cleveland, though. The Cleveland.
Yeah, but
I mean,
how is this Odell's?
Jackie, you gotta let these teams they can't be bad forever. They're making their baby steps.
How long has
Yeah,
Cleveland been
you're
back?
right.
Yeah,
No,
but
you're right.
okay, but
Right.
each year they've been getting better.
That's
6
what I'm
and
saying.
10
Let
was
them
their record
graduate.
this
That's
last
what I'm
season,
saying.
and then like literally the year
We
before they
forget.
only won 2 games. So they've been getting better, and
Okay.
I think we need to let this
Let them
figure it out. Let
Maybe
them
this
play.
is sensitive for me because
but
I'm
they
a
can
Knicks
figure
fan.
it out without Odell, though, is my thing. Because the thing is,
Who's
Odell.
picking up Odell's check?
I think there's a few teams that might want to pick up Odell's check. I personally think that he would be great in Pittsburgh, just because they are obviously lacking right now since they've lost in a lot of things, and I think
there's too much drama in Pittsburgh.
I think there's a lot of drama right now, and here's the thing though.
And Odell's not gonna. Odell will add to the drama.
Odell, that's what people think though, but we've seen a quieter Odell. The only thing we've really seen is when he did the LSU money thing, but as far as what he says on the field. Like Devin says, when they interview him, he's very, back in the day, he'd be like, oh, I don't like it here. And he would tell us how he really feels. But he's been very politically correct. He's been very focused. He said all the right things. He said, I bought a house here, like he can't sell it. You know what I mean? But he said all the right things to make you feel like he's a team player. And I think that since we're not staying in the past, we shouldn't stay in Odell's past. Because who he was then is not who he is now. It's just not a fair point.
Well, so what about all those rumors that we heard about him going up to opposing teams and saying, come get me?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to escape purgatory, you ask. You pray your way out of purgatory. So I'm not mad about him asking.
Let the Browns figure it out. They're finally they're going in the right direction. It's not like it's the same thing with Baker Mayfield, like Brick just said. You're not gonna just jump from being, great in 2 years. Yes, he had a great rookie year. He did a lot of things that the Browns were not doing because before Baker Mayfield was there, the last person to win that team any game was Robert Griffin III back in God knows when.
Baby.
So they're going in the right
injured
direction.
But the
RG3.
expectation is different now because we do have second-year quarterbacks that are not Baker Mayfield-ish.
True, but that's fine. That's fine. He's still in his second year. We're gonna talk about him. It's up to him to take it. He's in Cleveland. That's fine. But we still to put that much pressure and that much on just him, knowing damn well what time of his career he's in.
People were talking Super Bowl.
Like he's not a second-year quarterback.
Literally, right when they got Odell and stuff, people were literally talking about Super Bowl.
Defense,
and I'm
right.
like, come on. Like, give this team a little bit of time like we used to do in the past. Now we want everyone to go out on the field and just freaking be Tom Brady right away.
Because that's how it works. That's what you see now. You do see the Patrick Mahomes coming out, and now
Patrick Mahomes is
I agree with that.
an anomaly.
But when you talk about the Cleveland Browns, you're not talking about like if the Pats fall off next season, the next 2 seasons, next 3 seasons, nobody's going to trip because you had Tom Brady, Tom terrific this whole time. Everybody's going to expect those waves. Y'all been in this wave for decades.
Yeah, but that would be just losing Tom Brady. That's not like losing a coach. Like they've literally changed their front office so many times. So it's just like
the best example I can give is the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks were not instantly good. They had a young quarterback that they were not expecting to be the quarterback he is, talking about Russell Wilson. And in time, that was a young team that within a few years, they figured out and they became the talk of the town. I feel like the Browns are very similar to that. It's just because they are the Browns, they have that label that they're supposed to suck. So because they didn't have a good season last year, but they got to get out of that. Look, they're allowed to get out of that at some point.
Official Seaside has a question for you, Chris, and I agree with this question.
Yeah,
what's the time limit though? How long do you give a player, Chris?
Well, I think the rule.
I think you felt
no,
like
that's fine. No, I feel like it depends, but I feel like the rule in a lot of these teams. I mean, we're seeing it in basketball, you see it in football too. Is normally on that third year you see the players start to become the player that they're going to be throughout their career. You see that in any instance with a lot of these guys. Same guy I just mentioned, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had a phenomenal rookie year. We get that, but then it wasn't until like year 3 it's like, yo, this dude is the dude, and they started going and they were competing for the Super Bowl, and then the rest is history with him.
And again, most guys came off of the backs of somebody else. Like Aaron Rodgers had Brett Favre there to like teach. You know what I mean? Like
your boy.
Even Jimmy Garoppolo, like he had Tom Brady that he worked under for 5 years. You know, so it's like these guys had like people like Patrick Mahomes is one of himself, you know.
But even
like
he had Alex Smith though.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so
he
so
did.
Your consensus is Odell should not only stay, he should genuinely want to stay. That's the consensus?
I believe so.
Hell no, Odell. If you have a chance to get out, get out.
Well,
it's
actually,
purgatory.
On top of that thought that you have, we had somebody in here, and I'm trying to find the comment now. Oh, Alex Guerre. I don't
We
know.
might mess up y'all's
Y'all need to
names, so
fix
you
your
know.
names. Just something simple.
Simple.
Yeah.
Cleveland's quarterback is straight garbage. Sorry for the disrespect. So if,
I don't think he's straight garbage.
Who?
I'm not going to go that far and
That's what
say
this Alex guy
that
says.
Baker Mayfield
Cleveland's
is straight
quarterback.
garbage. But I do think that there's has been some regression in his game. There are things that we didn't see his rookie season that we
But
saw
but
last
he has
season.
a new coach now too. Like so,
get
it's
it.
just like for a young quarterback to then have to switch ways again
Mm-hmm.
in such a short span. I think, like, I almost, like you said, year 3, I would actually give Baker to year 4 just because they've made so many different moves with that organization that he hasn't had time to, like, develop. It sucks really bad that he had to go to the Browns because if he would have went to a more seasoned organization that already had stuff in
I agree
place
with that.
and
Different
then was
narrative.
ready to accept him
Would've been a
like
different
Kansas
narrative.
City did, like, you know, the
Yep.
Ravens had.
Would've
So it's
been
just like they
different
were already
narrative.
setting stuff up for Lamar Jackson or for, and even like the Cowboys, like, I know people want to say stuff about like
No,
the Cowboys aren't great, but like Dak
Yeah,
was
Tony
put
Romo.
into a position where there was already stuff. He was a third quarterback, you know,
Yeah.
like string quarterback.
And he had Tony Romo.
And he had Tony Romo.
Say what you want
And-
about
And don't
Tony
forget
Romo.
Kellen Moore. I mean, he totally
Who is now
changed
their
up
quarterback
Dak's
coach.
game.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, I get it. But ifs and buts, y'all. That's not what happened. He ended up in Cleveland. He got to figure it
Yeah,
out.
so that's what I'm saying. Give them time to figure it out.
Okay, before we wrap up this segment, there was one comment in here that I had to read from Yvonne Sanders. He says, I mean, Chris, the Knicks
Ooh,
ain't
Yvonne,
getting any
I'm
better.
ready for you, bro. Go
Oh,
ahead. No,
facts.
read it out. I'm ready. Go ahead.
The
I'm ready.
Knicks
I got a
ain't
response.
getting any better. What's your take on the fact that some teams are just meant to suck?
Well, here's the thing. No, he's
All
right.
of that.
No, you're right. 100% you're correct. But the difference between the Knicks and the Browns were the Browns actually finally, after all these years, they decided to wise up and change their front office to get guys that know the sport of football, which is why the Browns decided to start winning. They decided to start putting the right players on their team. The Knicks ain't doing that. So that's the difference between the two teams. The Knicks are going to be bad until our owner decides that maybe I should put basketball guys in this team and let them do their job. So you're trying to attack me, but I agree with you, Ivy, because it's the facts. Like, the Knicks are doing it to them damn selves. So the difference between the two is the Cleveland Browns are finally putting the right people in, well, except for Kitchens last year. They're finally putting the right people to actually build a football team to compete.
I don't know why you
Give 'em
point at
time.
me with the
Because
Kitchens.
you don't like Kitchens. We don't.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
with
I
you.
thought- I
We
thought
were
you
talking.
were
Nah,
saying-
Kitchens. Nah, Kitchens. Man, I don't know why he got that job. Garbage.
All right, you guys, let's
Sorry, that's why I pointed at you.
switch
Because
gears.
you're on that.
Yvonne, there's your answer. You got no
I'm with
beef
you, Ivan. You
Chris.
ain't got no
Yeah,
beef. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I love the
Ivan,
team, but I'm not an idiot.
whatever your name is, Yvonne, Ivan. Okay, so now we need to talk about this Kobe merch. So the memorial happened on Monday,
Yep.
and the people who were fortunate enough to attend were given programs and shirts, and it was like a really beautiful experience.
Yeah.
Everybody was receiving all of these special items, and some of the people went and turned around and listed their merchandise for sale on eBay, and they were charging between $2,000 and $5,000 for the different bundles, for a single T-shirt. And eBay actually went out and said, we are pulling all of the memorial merchandise from our site. We do not allow listings that attempt to profit from human tragedy or suffering, and that doesn't include any, autographs or sneakers or old jerseys. It's just stuff that came from the memorial or anything that memorializes Kobe and Gianna. And they don't want people buying that and selling that for profit. And I personally think that this was such a smart move.
Man.
Like, why would you go out and try and profit off of someone else's tragedy, and a tragedy that the entire world is mourning? You're going to go and charge $2,000 for a T-shirt that so many of us wish we could have and cherish to, like, just to be there and be at that memorial.
Yeah.
So what are your all takes
Well,
on this?
I think that's why people were charging for them, because people do want them, So they're like, I don't want this, so like, let me go sell it. Somebody will buy it, and then they'll appreciate it more than I did, clearly. So I get why people did it. But I think me and Chris spoke about it too. Like, they charged people to go to the memorial.
Right.
Like, that was kind of crazy too.
I had an
Like,
issue with that.
I have
But
a
the-
big issue with
The
that.
money was going to the Mamba and Mamba
What is
Secret
that? What is
Foundation.
that for, though?
But
What is that actually? They don't tell what that money goes to.
So it's like the Mamba Academy.
It's going to.
It's the kids that play. But see, the
Yeah, but
problem
the kids pay a lot of money to go to
right,
the
and
Mamba
so
Academy.
that was my exact issue with it. If that money was going towards like the inner city, I mean, first
Yeah,
of all, when we're
exactly.
talking about Thousand Oaks, we're thousand, and no disrespect, I mean, grow up how you grow up. That's fine.
Yeah.
But these are already privileged kids. So
Yeah.
why are you taking my money and giving it to a privileged situation?
When there's been
So
other
that-
people,
I already
Michael
have trouble with
Jackson,
that.
Nipsey Hussle, both
Right.
had their memorials at Staples Center, and
it was
there was
free.
not a charge for that. So it's like both of them, I think, are not good to. It's a memorial. You
Right.
shouldn't charge. That's like charging people to go to church or something.
Right.
Like I just don't agree that there was a charge to even go to the memorial in the first place.
I agree.
But yes, it's all like, and it's kind of sucks because really everybody's kind of low key profited from the death of Kobe Bryant, even if it's like ESPN or whatever. ESPN magazine, which is a closed they don't do issues anymore. They specifically opened the doors to do an
Yeah.
issue and charge $15 for a magazine.
Right.
So like
resold that too.
people are Sports Illustrated, all these people are
did
doing, you know
one.
what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
everyone did one.
so it's unfortunate, but even when I was going, I went down to Staples Center to look at, the memorial, pay my respects, drop flowers down there or whatever. Every single 10 steps you went, people selling T-shirts, people sell, everybody was capitalizing off of this. It's sad, but the people that selling the merch weren't the only people that did it. And again, when after Michael Jackson died or something, people want to buy his albums, or Nike profited because they
didn't
charged 4 times for the shoes.
Wasn't
Though
that
They took
crazy?
them off.
Yeah, they did take. But the thing
after
is,
they were sold out.
I thought
No, you're right. I can't find. Sorry, Nike. I tried. You're right.
there's some
They did sell
comments in
them
here
out.
that I just want
That's very true.
to point out. So we have Rebecca who says the money from the memorial tickets helps give scholarships to kids to attend who aren't from wealthy families, I thought.
Yeah,
so,
but the reality of it is, and I know that because I looked into that as well.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is, nobody from Compton is traveling to Thousand Oaks, and unless you are going to charter a bus to take all those kids from the inner city, those families, even if you say, okay, we're going to give you a scholarship to go to this Thousand Oaks Mamba Academy, those families are not going to drive their kids too far. And
Yeah.
look, LA traffic is real. Nobody's doing
And it's
that.
not a non.
It's not going to happen.
It's very clear that it's not a non-profit foundation. It is a for-profit foundation. They do pay people, and people make money off of it.
Right.
So it's not non-profit or non.
And I don't want to,
it's fine, because
Right.
people wanted to go, so they paid or whatever. But I just
Right.
thought it was in poor taste to have people pay.
And
to
I
go
get
to
it,
that.
I don't want to. I think it's wrong that people, especially for the amount of money they were selling that merchandise for, but
Right.
this isn't. I mean, nobody was checking for Michelangelo until he passed away, and all of a sudden his paintings were. I mean, this is real talk.
Yeah.
Your stock, unfortunately,
Yep.
increases after death. So I don't want to make it seem like these people were wrong in what they're doing, because the concept has been around for hundreds of years.
Forever.
well, two
That's
things.
true.
There's 2 things here. So first of all, Slacker2310 says Kobe would want you to sell it, #Mamba mentality. So that's one perspective.
That's not Mamba mentality.
I don't know if that's just
That's
what
why
Slacker
I
said.
need to know what your definition of Mamba mentality is, because that ain't it.
Also, I do want to.
That's a stretch, Mike.
Right.
I've seen a lot of people doing that on social media, though. The Mamba mentality is like.
Yeah, I saw somebody saying paying
I'm
rent
sorry.
24 days late, #Mamba mentality. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Wait a second. Come on,
Some
guys.
people might not understand what mama mentality
Yeah, we might need
really
to
was.
define that for y'all, cause
But okay, so the other thing
I
that
drank
I
my
want.
coffee this morning, mama mentality.
The other thing that I want to acknowledge also, just so that we're not getting anything muddled and confused,
Yeah.
eBay was only pulling the stuff that was from the
Right.
memorial
Yeah.
event. So
Yeah.
if you go out and you go buy a
Which is
Kobe
so
jersey or Kobe shoes, that's a great way to memorialize and commemorate the life of somebody that
I'm
you
a big
admire.
fan of the tattoos, not the one over the eyebrow
Game.
but I'm a big fan of some of these tattoos that I'm seeing, the artwork and the detail. I have a Prince tattoo, so because
I
Prince
do
is
too.
my.
Oh my gosh.
This is crazy.
Yes.
Where is yours on your ankle, girl?
Oh.
Wait, so do I.
Me too. You can't see it. I was bald at the time, so it's right here. You can't see it. It's there, though. I got one.
You probably got a Knicks tattoo.
No, it's
You might as well
facts, man.
memorialize
It
it
says,
now, 'cause that is
right
over
here.
too.
No,
I'm playing.
I got a tattoo here that says, oh, but you can't see it.
All right, you guys, let's get into Tyson Fury. So Saturday night, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fought. People are claiming that Tyson cheated. They say he had loaded gloves, and there's a slow motion video that we're going to play in just a second for you all to look at. Leo's going to toss that up on the screen. You can see his wrists kind of flopping around. Before I give my opinion about this, I just want to know, where do you all stand? Was he cheating? Was he
Look,
not?
Well,
man.
to be clear, this was from the first fight,
Right.
not from the recent
Yes.
fight. So this is actually an old fight that they had in December of 2018.
And look how
that
long.
the cheating is from.
And second of all, no. Fury won that fight fair and square. And I bet money, and by the way, you know who you are, you still owe me $250, I want my money. But but I bet on Fury because fundamentally,
It is Black History Month.
see, and this is exactly whatever the person who owes me that $250. That's what they said. They're like, "How you gonna?" Because I was trying to have it a green month at that specific time, and I wanted my money. But here's the thing: he's a better fighter. Fundamentally, Tyson Fury is a better fighter, and there's no way that I was going to put money on a guy. Now, granted, I wanted to, but then I was glad I didn't, especially when he walked out with this version of the Ice King versus Black Mamba or Black Panther. I was like, that whole thing. That, for those of us who watch The Masked Singer, we know that costume was heavy. That took half of his energy just to walk.
He said it was over 40 pounds.
40
Right,
Yeah.
and that's just silliness. Like his mentality is not on what's necessary. You know what I mean? And he didn't make, from my opinion, he didn't make any adjustments from the first fight going into the second fight. Now, he's a heavy hitter. If he would have made some adjustments and connected more often, he definitely would have won that fight.
In the first fight, he took like 430-something shots and only connected a total of 17% of the time, or 21% of the time. He missed a lot. He took a lot of shots, and he missed a lot in that first fight. The second fight, obviously, both guys are 20 pounds heavier than they were the first fight. First fight, I misspoke yesterday. It was a draw. Second fight, obviously, Fury won because we talked about it a little bit yesterday. But it was a draw the first fight. A lot of people said Fury should have won that first fight. But as far as the cheating of the video, it does. I mean, that wrist is too much like how you zooming for me, okay?
Well, Joshua Sanchez says that the gloves get inspected after the fight, so it couldn't have been loaded. When I was watching the video, I didn't. Maybe I just have floppy wrists, so it doesn't look unusual.
So yeah, my wrist look like that too.
Yeah. The one that went back this way, I think, was the weird one, and like, weird enough, but I used to like box, like not professionally or anything, but you know, I'm the descendant of the great Jack Johnson, so I used to box a lot, and I ain't never seen nobody's wrist do that. And it's like literally, you almost can't even move from here down. Like, you are taped up, and literally your hand from here to here is taped up, and then when you put the glove on, just how the glove feels, you don't have that positioning to move like that, which is really interesting to see the.
But you knew this was gonna happen. You knew.
What'd they draw?
Yes, I'm sorry, Slacker. I gotta give Slacker love. Yo, he said, "What'd they draw?" Hashtag dad jokes. That made me chuckle.
Getting back to that costume excuse.
It's not an excuse. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying if your mentality was right, you wouldn't have been in that costume in the
that was
first
his
I
excuse,
agree.
though.
well, yeah.
But I think it was also kind of just a silly thing to fall back on. I don't know, but Anthony Olivier also agrees and says, this excuse of my costume was heavy is BS. That guy's a trained fighter. Don't make excuses. Say, okay, I lost, and take your revenge on another fight. I agree.
But let me tell you, they're already talking about a rematch in July. Look here, Wilder.
Whoa.
I'm going to win some more money if you come out like you did these last two.
That soon?
That's what they said.
He said he doesn't want anything in between. He wants to go straight to this summer.
And that's a bad look to me because you got a lot. You didn't do the work from the first fight to this one, and it's turn around that quick. Unless you just want, I mean, the memes, especially the ones where it looked like he was, remember that fight that Martin had on the Martin? Look, these memes about to get real bad if you do this fight in July. I would advise against it. That's all. I would have to say about that.
I didn't realize that soon. Wow.
Well, should we jump into the next update? We have a potential, something that could have happened, a Banana Boat reunion. Chris Paul said that at one point the Banana Boat crew almost teamed up. He wouldn't reveal details about
where.
Right.
This
That's
is the thing.
what I
He
know.
didn't reveal details about when they would have all gotten together. It was likely 2010. I was reading some articles when LeBron was a free agent. Chris Paul was coming off his injury-riddled season in New Orleans. Melo had gone out in the first round of the playoffs.
Watch the reports come out and say it'd be the Knicks, just so they can just keep shoving it down our throats. Like, the Knicks could have had all of them. Take that, Knicks. You suck still.
That's a great voice. I like that.
That's how I hear the media when they talk about the
You
Knicks.
news like
That's how I hear the media every time I say, Knicks did it again. That's the voice I hear.
It would have been a super team of all super teams if that really did happen. But Chris Paul says that it still could happen in the future, which I don't really understand how.
Without Dwayne Wade.
Bring out the Walkers.
He'd have to come out of retirement.
Bring out the Walkers, baby. Let's go.
Like Carmelo is 35, LeBron's 35, Chris Paul's 33, 34.
Yeah,
But he looked older.
And yes,
Wade's
Chris Paul's
retired.
having a comeback season this year. Like he's been doing great this year. But
All-star.
literally the only place, like, because obviously Wade was already in his deal with the Heat, and that year that's when they got LeBron and Bosh. They had $48 million to spend. So with that $48 million, you really think you're going to get LeBron, Carmelo, and Chris Paul when Chris Paul was at the height of his career. And that year it was when they got denied the Lakers deal. The Lakers trade. They wouldn't even let him go to the Lakers. Chris Paul was not up to be like a free agent to just go somewhere. He would have had to get traded. He tried to get traded to the Lakers. They wouldn't even let that happen. Then he had to go to the Clippers. So you really think they were going to let him go to the Miami Heat at that time? Like
that was
that's
a conversation.
crazy. There's no way. And then the 2011 lockout happened. Like you know, like just that time is such a weird time. I think in their head they wanted it to happen.
Exactly.
They had dreams about it, but there's no like actual physical place where any of these guys could have ended up all together on the same roster. Because it was before the lockout, like they didn't even have that much freedom before the 2011 lockout. Like they couldn't just go and decide I want to go do this and play with this team and create my own super team and sign 1-year deals, and like they weren't doing that before. Like so there's literally no place these guys would have all been able to end up together.
It was a conversation, but it definitely wasn't something that was going to come to fruition. It was just like, wouldn't it be great if?
Yeah,
that's
right.
all that was.
Well, I mean, he said that it almost happened.
There's no way. There's no. Like,
He's giving us stories. He's giving us stories.
Yeah.
I'm not
Give us a
buying it.
soundbite.
Yeah, he knew what he did.
But he did say, like I mentioned, that it could happen in the future. Again, I really don't see that happening.
Maybe in a pickup game. But
Yeah.
it's not gonna
the
happen.
big three. The big three together.
Hey, there it is.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Neither would Ice
the
Cube.
big three.
Ice Cube wouldn't be mad either,
Right?
though.
Yeah, that's where they're playing.
Right.
That's where they're all going to team up on the big three.
Okay, let's get into the final news update
Here we go.
for all of you guys. Okay, so here it is. Ja Morant spoke about Russell Westbrook, and he said that Russell is, quote, highly disrespected. He said people take his play for granted. He averaged a triple-double for the last 3 or 4 years, but it's still the same thing. I just love that he still goes out and plays and handles his business, and he doesn't worry about it. And so Ja's been compared to Russell quite a few times.
Yeah.
So I think he probably feels some sort of kinship with him. There's some sort of like loyalty there, but kind of keeping in tune with what Ja said, Russell came back and said he appreciates Ja's support, but he ultimately really doesn't care, which I thought was kind of funny. It was kind of expected, but I don't know. I think if someone's out there like defending you and complimenting you and saying you deserve more respect, I mean, sure,
Russ
you
really
just
doesn't
Russell.
care, though.
Russ
Like,
really
when he
doesn't
tells you
care.
he doesn't care, he is telling you the God's honest truth.
No, I
He does
LeBron could
not
have said
care.
that, Russ would
Right.
not have cared.
Jordan could have said it. He'd have been like,
Russell Westbrook is signed by Jordan Brand.
Jordan Brand.
So he legit doesn't care.
Yeah.
But I do very much appreciate the respect from Ja, and I think it's warranted for sure. And I think he's right. I think there is definitely.
Do you think he's disrespected?
I do, but I
Yeah,
don't.
he has been.
He has been, because I feel like people forget that he literally. I mean, we talk about LeBron doing it a lot, but I mean, especially when we're talking about OKC, he's literally carried an entire franchise on his back by himself.
Yeah.
But we're talking about, look, y'all do this for me. Go Google right now. NBA triple-double. The first 4 posts you see are all Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Like, we can't
I mean,
miss
3
the
years in a row he averaged a triple-double.
And he does it without
He ain't
saying
doing
much.
it this year.
And that's the thing that I love about him. He's not this flashy dude. They've actually legit come to him after a game where his teammates have literally failed him, and they've asked him to comment on that, and he's like, we are a team. We walk or fall together.
Yeah.
Like, you have to respect the man for that, but I just don't think he gets the respect that he
I think
deserves.
he loses some of the respect. I mean, granted, yes, he's a 2-time All-Star MVP. He's 9 times been to the All-Stars out of his 11 seasons.
What?
Like, he is a 2-time scoring champ, you know. That's all great, but
I knew it
the
was
man
coming.
don't got no rings. And you've played with Kevin Durant and James Harden, and now James Harden again. Like, you've played with great players around you. Yes, the Western Conference, that was their chance to get it, and obviously Kevin Durant left after that. But, like, you haven't gotten there yet. So I think that's why you can carry a team, but only to a certain point, which is the same thing that's gone with Chris Paul too.
And that's why I'm half
you're not getting a championship.
You're half and half.
I'm half on half because I do believe he is disrespected because people take what he does for granted.
Absolutely.
But the other side is that because he's had opportunities. Luckily, he had Kevin Durant on his team, so all of that negativity and shade when they were talking about when they lost that 3-1 lead, it all went to KD.
Right.
No one was talking about Russ and that. So it's like there was opportunities where you could have been a next level kind of guy, because how many times did he go to the Western Conference Finals when KD left? You know what I'm saying? So I'm half and half on it. He's definitely been disrespected, but at the same time, like.
So let me ask you a question, Chris, because you and I talked about this before, because we definitely did not think that this matchup between James Harden and Russell Westbrook was going to work. Are you surprised that it's working?
With the trade, and I kind of talked about it with producer Dave when it happened because I did a video on it. With the trade, producer Dave, video Dave, all the power Dave, and Ivan, shout out to your boy Dave. When the trade happened, I got it because of that, because they wanted to unleash Russell Westbrook a little bit more. So yeah, post trade, yes, I'm a little bit more surprised. Because remember, when the trade didn't happen, we were right. When the trade happened, we were right on point because they were not looking good. Right. But once the trade happened, it makes sense.
Alex Gary said, have y'all watched the Rockets lately? What do y'all think? Are they a championship team?
See, here's the thing, though. We also know how James Harden loses a little bit of steam in the playoffs. So that's my major concern.
Yes, but now everything's not on him.
It's on
Westbrook
right now.
That's what I'm saying. So I still feel now I'm happy.
And then you still have Eric Gordon once he's healthy again to get back out there. I think that was a big tank for them. But I think he'll be back by playoffs.
But I think that as they stand right now, if they keep what they have working, then they are definitely going to be a team.
Way better shot now than when the season began.
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's wrap up that news. Oh, we already did wrap up that news.
We hear y'all.
Let's move on into what else you're taking us away with some social, right?
I'm taking it away with social, and we had some fun things. Now, speaking of, we talked about Harden and Westbrook. So if you guys didn't already see, we already posted the video up. Jackie posted that video where we talked about James Harden and with the person that was in the front row calling him. He didn't call him out. He was showing him love. He's like, man, who can stop you? James, you're unstoppable. Who can stop you? And his face.
You literally were that guy's voice right now.
You're welcome. I know. That's what I'm here for. That's why they pay me money. I got you, guy. He ain't paying us, so I'm going to speak over for him. But look, I get it. James Harden's been great. I just feel like the timing of it is kind of weird because he's saying that, and James Harden is the player he is. But right now, the Rockets are clearly the Russell Westbrook's team, at least right now. So the timing of that video, like as dope as it is, as funny as it is because the reaction and everything like that. Do you guys agree that it's kind of the time is a little off, especially that game because Russell Westbrook carried them in that game against the Jazz?
But I agree with you 100% as far as when we're talking about players, that it's definitely Russell Westbrook's team. But I think if you're a Rockets fan, it's James Harden's team. It's the bearded one's team. He's the one that's held you down. So I think that was clearly a fan. And so I think that in that aspect, the question is warranted. But that also explains James's face because he's out here like, man, are you watching the game?
Right.
You know what I mean? I understand.
Why didn't you say this last year? That's 2 years.
Right.
Oh, man. And speaking of James, we're going to go over to, the next few we're going to call this the Jackie section because the next few have to do, look at her go, look at her dance. The next few have to do with, in Jackie's words, the kingdom. Over with the James family. And first off, we're going with the smaller Jameses, little Bronny and little Bryce Maximus. Now, Bronny's been taking over TikTok. And it is important to say because a lot of these brothers of athletes, sons of athletes, daughters of athletes, and stuff, they have TikToks. But they have TikToks and they're not good.
Oh
you guys, all y'all
His brother is like the nerdiest person ever.
Oh man, Lil Jackson Mahomes.
I feel sorry for him.
He's a grown up.
Don't feel sorry for him. If you put it out there, you put it out there. You get what you get.
But he thought he looked cool.
That's the part. Like he feels like he was killing it. But on top of all that, Bronny's actually killing it. Like their dances and stuff were pretty dope. And it was really cool seeing him with his brother doing their thing. So shout out to Bronny. Gotta give you some love. Give the Bronny boys some love.
Can we stop posting TikToks on Instagram. I don't want to see
because
it.
nobody
Get
really uses
TikTok
TikTok. Do you use
and
Let TikTok be
No.
TikTok.
Let TikTok be on
I see
TikTok.
what
Like,
you're
stop
saying. I hear
posting
you
it
on
on
that.
Instagram.
I don't know
But it's the
anybody
same
who
thing with Vine,
actually
remember?
uses TikTok.
Wait, let's make a Fumble TikTok.
No.
And
Dance on it, Devin.
And then what are we gonna do on
Like,
the
what are you gonna do
TikTok?
on this
We're gonna
TikTok?
do our
It
dance.
does.
Oh, see,
I want to
that's
do
why
this.
we're not doing it.
I want to do the stone face, like how they do it. Like they literally like just watch the video like 12 times and they're like,
Right.
I know.
they don't know what
I'm
they're
not
doing.
like. I mean,
know
TikTok.
it.
I don't know. I guess
when I was like a
everything.
cheerleader and we used to be like spending the night at each other's houses and we'd come up with like dance routines and stuff and then like record ourselves doing dance routines. Like TikTok is for cheerleaders. Like
Yeah.
that's
So
what
why
it's
aren't you
for.
on it? Bring it back.
Because
Dust
I'm
the
not
ball.
cheerleading.
Dust the pom
I'm
poms
just
off.
doing
Britt,
routines
get out there.
like, and 5, 6, 7,
It's just
8.
But see, they won't hear that. Let the music play while you're doing all that. Hey, there it is. Put it in the chat. Make Brett make a
You end up
TikTok.
like that renegade girl with somebody watching you look completely ridiculous.
Oh
if you
my-
do it.
Wait.
We shouldn't do it.
No.
We shouldn't do it. It's a bad
Not.
look.
I'm not doing
But
it.
shouts out
I'll
to
do
the,
dance.
the,
I'll do dance
the
routines.
King James brothers. I
Yeah,
love them. I love the
go
support
ahead.
that
Bronny,
they're
Bryce.
giving
Anthony
each other.
said Fumble dance contest. Who would win in a Fumble
How
dance
about
I would
contest?
lose.
Also,
Putting it out there right
Y'all
now.
ain't ready for those
I have
moves.
no rhythm.
Hashtag Brit TikTok. Look at starting, Brit. Look
Right?
at you, man. Look, you got a fan base over on TikTok already.
No.
But staying in the kingdom with
And-
LeBron James. LeBron and the Lakers played against the Pelicans on, what is it now? Tuesday.
Tuesday, yes.
Where, everyone was excited and hyped up for the Zion and LBJ stuff. But we saw a few ex-Lakers get embarrassed. We talked about Lonzo getting swatted by
was beautiful.
Caruso.
So beautiful.
And also, Josh Hart, buddy. You got a little bit too much. Let's just say it was real ballsy for you to step where you were stepping during LeBron James's dunk attempt. So LeBron, no shade. Well, there was a lot of shade.
a lot of shade.
He posted the photo and a little bit of a video on IG of the dunk moment. And here comes LeBron's biggest fan, and I'm not talking about Jackie or Savannah. I'm talking about Rihanna, because Rihanna was back in those comments, and she commented saying, "Did anybody check in on Hart?"
I think that's a fair question because if you get them to your face, I feel like you need
Man,
I-
talk
did
about
he
that.
get him in his
You need
face
to talk
like
about that.
boy?
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people in this world that would not be mad to have LeBron's nuts in their face.
A different setting, though. Probably. I don't think
In
that's
a
the
different
setting.
setting.
You want that to happen.
But the thing is, does Josh Hart need this? Josh Hart is already in social media, like
And he's been so sad since he's got traded. Like,
But not
he's
only
been talking
that,
about it so much.
when Josh Hart has not gotten the high five since he's been drafted in
Oh,
this league. So Josh Hart does not need LeBron's nuts in his face to be going all over with Rihanna putting on top of him.
connection
No, no,
with
no,
him
no,
now.
no,
High five.
Well, that's not the high five he wanted, Devin. I can tell you that. I am certain that there is an anti-high five Josh Hart initiative in the league right now, because that man cannot get a high five.
Look,
but
we were actually at that game and we saw it happen because we were in box seats. But
With
you
her
can't see.
terrible pants
With
on.
my beautiful pants. Once again, you can DM me. I'll tell you where to get them. But so when it happened, when you see it in real time, it's different, And then we all kind of looked at each other like, did he just get faced? And then they played.
Did he just get
T-Rex.
So in real time, you thought it was a big deal in real time? Because in real time,
real
he
time-
slickly moved
Right,
past.
so that's
but in
what
the
I'm saying. In
replay, it
real
was
time,
worse.
you didn't see it.
Yeah,
And so then, in true shade fashion, it comes on
Oh,
the
yeah.
Jumbotron and slow.
And that's when it's worse. Oh,
motion,
man.
And you're like, oh, no.
Josh Hart like, LeBron, no.
Right. All you needed was a little piece of sweat to come
Oh,
off, and then
God,
that
man.
would have taken the cake.
Josh
I
Hart.
feel bad for you.
Hey, man.
I feel bad.
Yeah, Josh, I'm with you on it. It was, sorry, buddy,
Yeah.
but I feel
It
bad.
happens.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, he hasn't responded yet. Normally he's quick with these things. He
No,
hasn't
no,
responded.
you don't respond to this. You
just
just let this
let it
one
happen.
ride.
Let it-
Let this
Let it
ride
ride. Don't say
down.
it. But you wouldn't even like make fun.
No.
Nah, you shouldn't make fun
No,
of yourself.
no.
Yeah, no, don't do it. Don't.
How
You're
you
right.
make
You're right.
fun
You're
of the
right. You're
balls
right.
in your face?
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Because the
I don't even know if Kevin Hart can make that funny. Remember when he
Nah.
tried to make it funny when he got Shaq to the face? It wasn't funny.
tried. It
wasn't funny.
Because they're always thinking about his initial plays like, Kevin, well, you shouldn't have said that. And last but not least, now this is the moment I've been waiting for, because and you're a Michael Jordan fan, so I don't know how you felt about this, but when LeBron first came on the scene, right? Everyone was excited just where we are about Zion. Everyone's like, LeBron this, LeBron that, LeBron's the next coming this. Oh my gosh, he might be better than Michael Jordan. People forget how much shade Michael Jordan used to give to LeBron James. He would go to games, that LeBron would be playing for to see the other best player. Like he would go to the Heat game where we're playing Cleveland to see Dwayne Wade.
And LeBron wears Jordans.
He wore 23 for you, MJ, and he would shade him to no end. So now here we are in full circle where LeBron's like, oh yeah, I got my LeBron to Michael Jordan shade. Because now there's a lot of people thinking that with LeBron's comment in the media after that same game against the Pelicans, that he was throwing shade to Zion Williamson. LeBron saying this in the video.
I never met him. I never met him before. Never. Never had a conversation with him. Never met him before.
Yep, basically.
I just don't think that's shade.
Me either. I don't think so either.
I don't think that's shade.
But I love stirring the pot. I love
I'm
stirring the
gonna
pot.
tell you
the
why,
shade pot.
and I get why
It's
people
not.
are saying
It's
that, and I do because they expected him to say, oh, like I love the kid, I'm proud to see what he's doing, because
They
LeBron
want that.
is the guy that gives accolades
does.
and
Yeah.
he gives credit where
Luka.
credit is due. But I'm gonna say this: y'all need to start asking better questions, because what you asked
question
him
was so bad.
is how
It was so bad.
what do you think is that? Like, I don't know the man. Now,
Yeah.
if
Have you talked to him?
Stop asking us to force
Have
feed
you hung
you, sound bites. If you want to ask him, like, hey, this was you guys' first meetup, what'd you think? Because LeBron has a photographic memory. He could have literally played back to you a time where he bully balled his way into the basket. LeBron could give you that. You didn't ask the right questions, and now you're trying to stir the pot, and I'm telling you're wrong. There's no beef here.
This is their first time playing against each other.
Wait, what? I agree with you. Wait.
Oh, I thought you were
I
saying
saying
no. All I was saying was
there's
this.
no beef here.
This is their first time playing each other.
Right.
Like, you know what? One game in, he doesn't have to be like,
I
oh God, Zion's
disagree.
great.
Of course
You think
he
it's shade?
does.
I think he was just trying to distance himself.
Right? No, I'm not hating.
No. Britt loves the
I
paint.
think obviously, so during Kobe's memorial, Michael Jordan spoke. I think he gave like a great speech, and
For the first time in ever.
And
No shade
he-
to Michael
he-
Jordan, but he's not great at speeches. Go ahead. Sorry.
he shared moments that we needed. We needed to know that Kobe and Michael
He
had
did a
these
great job.
connections with each other.
Yep.
And to hear that Kobe, when he was very young, used to call Michael, text him 3 o'clock in the morning, saying, like, asking him questions about stuff. I think it was more like LeBron is wondering why maybe Zion didn't do that to him. So it's not, I don't think it's the Michael and LeBron. I don't think it's the Michael and LeBron thing. I think it's like LeBron's like, well, the young kid, he's never hit me up. He hasn't asked me any pointers. He hasn't hit me up on anything like that. And because you are supposed to be the next of
So
me.
I got you on that.
Because it's
So
not
Luka is his
LeBron's
Kobe.
fault to go after and
Right.
find him. It's
I got you.
Zion's point.
And you're
I
right.
agree with
So
that
Luka
part.
is LeBron's Kobe, and and Zion is his LeBron James.
That could be.
Because LeBron, like you said, because LeBron
Right.
didn't hit up Michael. So
Yeah,
you're right.
that's
So
what I think it is. So I'm not saying
I see
it's
what
like
you're
a
saying.
beef or whatever, but he's like,
He didn't come to me to say this, so I ain't got
yeah.
nothing to
So
say.
I don't have
I'm
nothing to
still
say.
gonna
Like
go
I'm
for the stretch.
the
Because it's a stretch.
no. I
think it's fair.
I don't
Fair
think
point.
it's beef. I'm just like he's like I'm the veteran thing. Why do I need to hit? He hasn't hit me up, so
Right.
I don't know what else to say. Like
I think people are creating a storyline
Yeah.
out of nothing.
Right.
And I think we all are in
But-
agreement on that.
Yeah.
Right?
But I also
Yeah.
see what you're saying. That's because you're right.
But I don't
Because
think you're
Zion
saying
might not
there's
have. Because Zion might not have reached out. You're right. Because we
Yeah.
don't know that. We don't know
Yeah.
that. But again,
Besides-
it all comes back to questions. They sucked. The
They'll probably
questions
go out
sucked.
to eat because Zion can eat. But
he is on a diet,
Look, man.
let's
Big
talk
boy's on a
about
diet.
that diet that produced 8 pounds of muscle in a week. That diet.
Let the kid grow, man.
Drug test.
Right. So let's get into some plays of the night, shall
Hit
we?
'em up.
Okay, so
do
you
it.
guys probably know I have a problem with refs all the time because I feel like they go blind or they have mental lapses, as my mom calls
That's
them.
very
They
nice
have
of you.
senior moments sometimes, and definitely happened to Donovan Mitchell, who was clearly fouled. I don't even think it was fouled. I think he was full on fondled. The ref is standing right there and says nothing. Are we pulling that play up really quick so they can see? Thank you.
My boy
Look at
Spider.
this. Look at this. What?
I mean, you gotta smile and laugh after that one, you
But
know?
don't-
Like,
I would love if
because
the ref
it's
was
like
like,
so blatantly like, hello,
Right.
bro, like.
like at least
You
go
see
give
that?
me a, like at least acknowledge that you
Yeah.
told us,
Help
like,
me.
help me.
The ref's like, sorry, what was happening? Basketball?
I kind of love that he kept like a smile on his
Yeah.
face, like, dude, like, because
Bro.
if it would have been like LeBron's face,
Oh,
where's
where's
the
it?
LeBron?
Where's it?
We're
Yeah.
not
It
showing
would have looked like that.
You know,
He would have looked like that if like a foul was missed on him,
Right.
you know,
Right.
like or James Harden, same thing. But like,
that, you know what? But yeah, turn that back around.
Yeah.
There was somebody else on Twitter that I was like, you know what, that's a good point, because this Twitter user said the refs should have to face the media after the game and discuss the play just like players do, just like coaches do. I have no idea why that's not a thing. I agree with that, because they keep missing calls and they're not being held accountable. There's no fines for them. There's no repercussions.
Oh, yes.
I like when
they need to do something
but
about that.
But the NBA has dabbled in doing live tweets with the NFL refs or the NBA refs.
Yeah, but they've been blocking everybody.
I think they need to continue.
Soft.
I think they need to continue to do that. That helps, obviously, of transparency a little bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I agree with that.
Yep.
That's a good thing.
So I know you guys watched the All-Star weekend, and I know you guys probably saw the part where they were asking people who would you want to play one-on-one, and a lot of people said Jimmy Butler, and they all said they'd want to play Jimmy Butler because he couldn't handle them.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to add D'Angelo
Oh,
to that list,
D-Lo,
because
my guy.
let's take a look at this play, because Jimmy Butler is going inside. Now, if he'd have made this, they would have won, but D'Lo gets it all ball, not like the LeBron balls, but like really the all ball, and blocks
For the win.
For the win.
For the win.
And they get a foul. There is a foul, but it ends up being on Miami.
Yep.
Now, I feel like Jimmy Butler should respond to this, because this happens to you a lot, bruh. Like, what would he say?
Hey, but can D'Lo have one defensive moment? It's like
He doesn't have many.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, let him have this.
Like, he was
Minnesota
like a little
needs
kid.
it.
He was like,
Yeah. You see me?
Yeah, he's like,
I told you I play defense. I can play defense. Let's get it.
the Warriors were like,
Minnesota
we
needs
didn't
it.
see that, buddy.
Three blind mice and they didn't catch it. Let him have it. Let him have it. Sorry, Jimmy Buckets.
right. Okay, so let's cue the drug test for Robert Covington. Let's look at the block that I loved, because not only did he swat this away like it was just a fly in his way, he turns right back around, gets on offense, and makes the assist.
Yeah, man.
I love Robert Covington.
That's
He's
what he's
an
supposed to do, though.
amazing
Like,
player.
and I know, like, the last few games he's had the 11, but still, if you look over his overall season, he's averaged 3 blocks per game, like
It's
the whole
not new.
season. It's
Right,
not
not a
new.
new
That's what I'm
thing.
saying. So why put it up there now?
Right.
It's weird. But maybe we should drug test the Cleveland Indians, since we're just throwing out drug tests, because it's spring training, and there's no cheating in this one. They're trying to get away from the scandal, but the Cleveland Indians got this trick shot at their spring training hotel that I think we should definitely try to mimic. So let's pull that up. Look at that.
Here's the real question. How many times do you think they practice this?
I don't know, but here's the
There's
thing.
no way.
I think that maybe they should send the Fumble crew on a vacation.
Maybe
can all
they could
get-
take over the roster for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Ooh.
Man,
We take over the roster.
man, Indians
No,
would do better in the league than the Cavaliers.
exactly. The
Hey,
Indians should
put
be
the-
on
look.
the
At
NBA
this point,
team.
we might
Right.
need to play for.
You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm sorry,
But
Cleveland.
Jackie, keep going with
Yeah,
this
like
vacation
I'm saying,
idea.
like I think
As long as
they
I'm
should
the one
send
shooting.
us-
As long as I'm the one shooting.
And I was just gonna ask who was gonna take the
Oh,
shot.
I'm taking
It's
the shot.
Clearly,
I'm
you're
taking
a
the shot.
Knicks fan.
Doesn't matter. That had to do with my personal game. My favorite player was Tracy McGrady, Hall of Famers. That's all that
Okay.
matters, all right?
But
I
didn't
took
you
the shot.
say yesterday that women have better jump
Damn it,
shots
I
than
did.
men
You're right.
do?
Oh, clearly,
Back in my face. I can't fight that. I
President
can't fight
and
it.
CEO of the King James
Whatever, I
Fan Club
can't
should
fight
take
it.
the shot. I
Can't
just think
fight it.
that just makes sense, right?
I guess I'm making the pass, I guess.
Actually, no. Probably Britt should take it, since Kawhi is a Clipper now, and he.
And she has to laugh while she shoots it.
Right, right. Do the laugh. Do the laugh, Britt.
You ain't ready for it.
All right,
Britt
you guys.
Buckets, just need me Britt Buckets. I'll take it.
Cute.
Let's do it.
I like that one.
All right, you guys. So that wraps up the second live show that we have ever done No, the first one we've done all together. The
First
second
one.
one in a row that I'm getting.
We
myself.
will be
We'll
here
be back.
Monday through Friday at 11 a.m.
Yes, yes.
Tell a friend.
Bye, you guys.
Running late.
Make sure you subscribe.